key piece of evidence needed to sort out what caused the door of an Alaska Airlines plane to blow mid-flight has surfaced in Portland. Good evening. I'm Crystal Bailey. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. Now, we expect to hear from the National Transportation Safety Board investigators in about an hour. For now, this Alaska Airlines incident keeps dozens of Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes grounded tonight. That's causing flight disruptions across the country. This is a live image of activity at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, one of the airports suffering from the most cancellations because of this incident. Fox 13's AJ Janavel has the latest from the investigation from Seattle.
On Monday, the National Transportation Safety Board said they found the door that flew off Alaska Airlines Flight 1282.
We are emergency. We are depressurized.
Video Fox 13 News obtained from inside the Boeing 737 MAX 9 showed the terror in flight as the aircraft flew with the missing plug. Since this shocking event, passengers have faced nightmares at airports across the country.
First, they canceled our flight. We didn't know when or where we were going to go. Then they were taking us to Portland and then Burbank today. And then they changed that, canceled that.
On Monday alone, Alaska Airlines canceled at least 140 flights, and United Airlines canceled about 200 flights. With the planes grounded, airlines are forced to scramble, and there's no timeline for when this will be resolved.
Do not rush this. We want those airplanes flying. We will not fly an unsafe airplane. As captain, that's my moral and professional obligation, but do not rush your review.
Dennis Tager is a pilot for American Airlines. He flies Boeing 737s. He also is the spokesperson for the Allied Pilots Association, the union for American Airlines pilots. While the investigation for the actual cause of Friday's incident is still ongoing, Tager tells me he's losing faith in Boeing.
We had the 737 MAX a couple of years ago. 2 of them went down, 346 lives lost. We see Boeing in the news consistently.
Tager recently spoke out on Boeing's request for safety exemptions for their current 737 models that have de-icer issues, which can cause a loss of plane control. Boeing provided me with a statement regarding Friday's in-flight incident that reads in part, "We agree with and fully support the FAA's decision to require immediate inspections of 737-9 MAX airplanes with the same configuration as the affected airplane."
And that was Fox 13's AJ Janavel reporting. The NTSB intends to update everyone with the latest on this investigation later tonight. To stay on top of the developments in this case, check out our website, westcoastwrap.com.
I just think his reactions were not premeditated. It was triggered.
Now, relatives say the man caught on camera leaping over the bench inside a Las Vegas courtroom needs mental health help. Deobra Redden showed up back in court today with more restraints than usual. He faced the same judge who was injured during his outburst last week. Fox 5's Victoria Saha reports his family needs more jail time to turn his life around.
State Nevada versus Deobra Redden.
Surrounded by multiple Metro officers, Deobra Redden smiled through his spit mask as he entered the courtroom. Redden in shackles and mitts so he doesn't scratch anyone as he stood in front of Las Vegas Judge Mary Kay Holthus.
I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant's actions.
Those actions caught in a now viral video of Redden, who was out on probation, attacking Judge Holthus as she was about to sentence him for a 2023 charge of attempted battery with substantial bodily harm.
When we were last here, arguments were concluded and the court had begun to pronounce sentence when an incident occurred, an incident initiated by Mr. Redden, preventing the court from completing sentencing.
On Monday morning, Judge Holthus didn't make any specific comments about the attack before she sentenced Redden for that original crime of up to 4 years. Outside the courtroom, Redden's sister and foster mom say Redden suffers from schizophrenia and was not on his medication when he attacked Judge Holthus.
I just think his reactions were not premeditated. It was triggered. because he seemed to have been pleading for his freedom.
His foster mom, Karen Springer, has been taking care of Redden since he was 12 years old.
I tried to soothe them and, say, just come to court and, whatever's handed down, just take it. Like, what else can you really truly do? In his mind, he didn't think he was going back. He was ready to go to work the following day.
She was in the courtroom last Wednesday when the attack happened.
My first thought of mine was, please don't kill him. You know what I mean? Please, it shocked me, just as it shocked everybody else.
Redden is no stranger to the criminal justice system. Court documents show he has had multiple competency evaluations.
I don't think sending him to prison is going to deter anybody who suffers from a mental illness. They need to be surrounded by healthcare professionals.
Fox 5 discovered Redden is now being charged with attempted murder, along with numerous other battery charges for attacking Judge Holthus.
That was Fox 5's Victoria Saha reporting. Redden will face an initial court appearance on charges tied to last week's behavior in court tomorrow. A different judge is handling that case. And people in parts of the Pacific Northwest face rare blizzard warnings tonight. This live image from Mount Hood, Oregon, gives you a sense of how snow is piling up at ski resorts. Blizzard warnings are in effect for the Cascades from as far north as northern Washington to central Oregon. And farther south, more snow. People in parts of Colorado and Arizona experienced near whiteout conditions this morning. In northern and southern California, winter lovers are taking advantage of that snow that fell over the weekend before new storms move in later this week. Now we begin with tonight's weather team coverage with Fox 13's Frank A. Thompson, who spoke with people getting ready for heavy snow in Washington.
The snow blanket Snoqualmie Pass winter white, leaving some drivers on I-90 white-knuckled behind the wheel.
It's scary, for a lot of people because they've never driven in snow, so they don't even know what they're getting themselves into.
It's the first major snowfall of 2024 at the pass, already causing issues on the roads.
It wouldn't be as bad if the drivers would adhere to the rules of the roadway.
The number one reason for the pass to be closed is, frankly, bad drivers, just not following the rules and how that quickly backs up.
Washington State Department of Transportation says every plow is on the highway clearing a path to keep it open. Though the snow is laying on thick, Washington State Patrol says human error seems to be the reason some drivers are losing control.
And before 8 o'clock, they already had 3 crashes, including one that was DUI, and ended up crashing in the back of a DOT plow truck. Totaled the car, obviously. Fortunately, nobody was seriously injured. But not to mention we have snow that we're dealing with, and to have a drunk driver on the road at the same time is just it's inexcusable.
WashDOT says the plow driver hit was not hurt. The department says the bigger issue they're seeing is lack of obedience to the tire chain's requirements.
It seems like a human tendency to think the rules apply to somebody else and I'll be okay if I could just slide through, but that's when problems occur. Everybody needs to be putting on those chains when it's enforced because it simply just allows people to stop getting stuck and to slide around.
There's not enough chains, and so we're pulling trucks over and citing them. The fine is over $500 for not putting your chains on correctly or not having them at all. So it can be very, very expensive, and it's not worth the risk.
Risk also increases when people don't have enough gas in their vehicle, like this truck troopers say ran out of fuel on the road.
That's one of the most irresponsible things you could do. Always have fuel in your car, and they say to make sure you at least have a half a tank full when a storm's coming. But just to have no, it's completely irresponsible. Just putting yourself again and others at risk.
That was Fox 13's Frankie Thompson reporting. Many people in Arizona welcome the snow they're seeing. People in Flagstaff woke up this morning to picturesque winter scenes. Landscaping crews spent the morning shoveling sidewalks for people venturing out downtown.
Right now we're downtown just trying to get the city sidewalks cleared out. We're trying to get we have some ice on in this alleyway that we're trying to get moved out from the side of the building because in the years past it's been a big slipping hazard, and just trying to make things a little bit safer.
A blast of cold air is moving into the southern part of the state. Hard freeze warnings are set to take effect there overnight. And storms are also expected to dump more snow in California later this week. People in southern and northern parts of the state are taking advantage of today's break in storms. They're keeping ski resorts very busy before the new storms move in. Let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Rosemary Orozco, who's tracking the storms all over the West. Rosemary.
Yes, Crystal. We almost have to go back 48 hours to show you the storm that is responsible for all that activity we showed you just a moment ago. Here it is Saturday afternoon, and the storm is pulling through areas of the Pacific Northwest into California, and then into Sunday, Southern California, and then over towards areas of the desert Southwest. Again, one system that kind of for 48 hours moved through, bringing with it cold air and low snow, as well as a little bit of rain. This is the next storm that is already moving into the Pacific Northwest. This is what's to come for tomorrow, as well as a Wednesday for many parts of the West, as the system pattern is set up to bring us another round of rain and snow tomorrow, followed by another round on Wednesday, in addition to dangerous surf expected for parts of the West Coast, and into the weekend, a third round or storm coming in, bringing with it rain and snow. A better look at what we can expect for the West coming up after the break.
Thank you, Rosemary. Pointing fingers coming up. Who the Homeland Security Secretary thinks is to blame for slow work processing an influx of migrants at the border. And see how Huskies fans are celebrating their run to tonight's college football national championship game. Stay with us. Oh, we'll know by the end of the night whether the Washington Huskies take this year's college football national championship. They're up against the Michigan Wolverines in Houston for the title. The school's athletic director says this game is for more than just sports fans.
I'm excited for the guys. We sold 20,000 tickets in less than an hour. You know, our fan base is excited. They deserve it. You know, we've got this national, hundreds of thousands of alums. They're all tuned into this thing tonight. This is bigger than a football game. It's for the institution, it's big for the city, it's big for the state.
The school's flag flies at the Washington State Capitol tonight, just one example of excitement over the game back home. And the culinary and bartenders unions set a February 2nd strike deadline for more than 20 casino resorts on the Las Vegas Strip and downtown. The two sides have yet to reach a new contract. A strike could involve some 7,700 workers walking off the job. Union leaders plan to meet with negotiators of 9 casinos this week and 2 more next week. Some of the resorts scheduled to negotiate include Circus, Westgate, and Trump Hotel Las Vegas. Now, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is back at the southern border. He discussed with border agents in Texas today the challenges of seeing an influx of migrants arrive. This visit comes as U.S. senators negotiate a White House request for funding to address issues at the border. Secretary Mayorkas says House Republicans are getting in the way of a deal.
We have taken bold, necessary actions during the time that Congress has failed to act. We have established safe mobility offices to assist migrants in Colombia, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Ecuador. Implemented processes to enable different nationalities to access relief in the United States without making the perilous journey in the hands of smugglers. Begun processing an historic number of refugees from our hemisphere. Removed and returned historic numbers of migrants who entered illegally and failed to qualify for relief.
We don't want to empower more of this. The White House, the administration, Secretary Mayorkas have put a welcome mat out.
House Republicans have said they want tougher restrictions on asylum in any potential deal. And an investigation is underway into an apparent altercation between Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert and her ex-husband at a restaurant over the weekend. Police are not releasing details, but Boebert's campaign released a statement saying the Congresswoman, quote, did not punch Jason in the face and no one was arrested. The statement also said Boebert will be consulting with her lawyer about the false claims made against her. Officers plan to talk with witnesses and ask the restaurant owners for any video that might have captured what happened. The Supreme Court has rejected Alaska's bid to revive a proposed copper and gold mine that was blocked by the Environmental Protection Agency. The justices did not comment on why they declined to take up the case. The EPA stopped the mine proposal last year, citing concerns about the potential impacts on sockeye salmon in the area. Alaska can still try to reverse the decision through the lower courts. Getting back to winter storms across the West, images picked up from Utah's Cottonwood Canyons today show how there's plenty of snow south of Salt Lake tonight. The good news for drivers is that conditions are beginning to clear in that area. Traffic authorities say at least 180 crashes happened earlier today while there were slick roads. Stormy conditions are expected to return to this area tomorrow. Let's go back to KTVU meteorologist Rosemary Orozco, who is tracking the west storms.
Yes, another storm already moving into the Pacific Northwest. Here's a look at Seattle this afternoon. Pretty artistic there with some, looks like wet weather on the lens, and we've got the city in view. 42 degrees, the afternoon high in Seattle this afternoon. Here's a view of the satellite and radar. You can see areas like Seattle, Portland, Oregon, down onto the north corner there of California, seeing some wet weather in the rain as well as snow in the Cascades. If I pull back just a little bit, most of the state of California and farther east looking at dry conditions for today, but that will change as we get into tomorrow. As we spoke about before the break, the next storm expected to move in. Here's a look at tomorrow morning, where it's all the way into areas of the Bay Area with scattered showers, and we've got snow moving over the higher elevations from Washington, Oregon into Idaho. And then as we get into Wednesday morning, another system dropping in. This Wednesday storm is expected to move all the way to Southern California and into the desert Southwest. Keeping in mind the Sierra is picking up snow with the Tuesday storm as well as the Wednesday storm. Here we are Wednesday night when it has moved into Southern California. Notice the snow there over parts of Nevada as well as Utah and into Colorado. And then into Thursday morning, we have some all the way into areas near New Mexico. So this is what we're looking at with the next 48 hours, keeping with the 48-hour time period here, stopping it for you on Thursday. Rainfall amounts, not so much. I mean, the Pacific Northwest is definitely going to benefit from this, but areas like California, areas over Nevada and into the desert Southwest, not expected to get a whole lot of, rain out of two storms we're talking about. It's just because it's just so cold, these storms, that really is the Sierra and areas over the Cascades benefiting from this, and low snow levels all the way down to 1,000 feet over the Pacific Northwest, 2,000 feet a possibility over the Sierra. So that's what we are looking at, and advisories to come along with it. You can see not only winter storm watches and warnings, but a blizzard warning for parts of Washington as well as Oregon, meaning whiteout conditions and blowing snow. For the southern half of the state of California as well as the desert Southwest, we are talking about cold weather with frost advisories expected not only for LA County, but San Diego and areas over Santa Barbara County, and then shifting into areas of Arizona as well. Here's a look at tomorrow morning. Temperatures are going to be freezing and below freezing over much of the west, and then into the afternoon, we're looking at 5 to even 10 degrees below average for this time of year for areas like Phoenix tomorrow, only 56 degrees. Back to you, Crystal.
Rosemary, thank you. In Montana's governor and first lady purchased a historic mansion and plan to donate it to the state. Governor Greg Gianforte and his first lady Susan bought the Hauser House mansion in Helena for $4 million. The couple say they plan to donate the home for use as the governor's mansion. The 9-bedroom property was built in 1885 and is on the National Register of Historic Homes. Gianforte is a multi-millionaire who founded a cloud computing company that sold to Oracle in 2011. And the Consumer Electronics Show is known for the debut of high-tech gadgets coming up. What event organizers say everyone will be talking about when doors open tomorrow in Las Vegas. And see what it took to get the cat that was lost in the West back home. Tech experts expect artificial intelligence will dominate talk at this year's Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. CES, which showcases the latest innovations in technology, will begin tomorrow. The Consumer Technology Association runs the event. Its CEO says he expects to see companies demonstrate practical uses for AI. He also says the industry welcomes more AI regulation. CES will wrap Friday. It's expected to bring around 130,000 visitors to Las Vegas. And Seattle leaders hope AI will ease drivers' commutes and help the environment at the same time. The city is partnering with Google to put something called a Project Greenlight to a test. The idea is to use AI and Google Maps driving trends to help the city reduce emissions. That would be done by reducing the number of times drivers need to stop at traffic lights. Several cities across the globe are taking part in the project. Seattle is the first city in North America to get involved, and project leaders expect this can reduce incidents of people stopping at traffic lights by 30%, which could reduce CO2 emissions by about 10%. And a cat went missing. He finds his way back home after making a cross-country journey. Reporter Darian DeBrule explains how volunteers helped get this cat back to its owners.
Days on the road as a trucker can feel lonely, which is why Chad McIntyre loved having his right-hand cat, Tyler, by his side.
It's nice that he's laying there in the passenger seat and, yeah, he doesn't talk back, but it's nice to have something to talk to.
But at the end of November, Tyler escaped from his dad's truck at a Flying J in Fernley, Nevada.
I had to go deliver to Walmart, so I had to leave, and I was gone for about 2.5 hours and came right back and then started looking for him again. And I had that whole night to look for him, but then the next day I had to go to California. So then I came back the next night after that and looked for him again.
I literally went everywhere on every surrounding state that I could think of and put him in the lost and found, every truck driver group that I could find.
5 days later, Chad's wife, Brandy, thought, "You've got to be kidding me," when she discovered Tyler was at an animal shelter 670 miles away from where he went missing.
She told me, that they were in Rock Springs, Wyoming, and I was just like, okay, I'm not sure how we got there because he went missing in Fernley, Nevada.
He somehow ended up in Wyoming and brought in by a concerned citizen. And we were able to check him in, and he was microchipped. So we were able to locate an owner.
Lydia Gomez with Rock Springs Animal Shelter worked with independent transport coordinator Joe Nickum to help get Tyler back to his home in Decatur, Illinois.
You knew he had a home. You knew he had a home just by the way he acted. He had a lot of personality, so I could see why they would want him back.
I always put myself in their place. If that was my critter, and I had no idea what had happened to it, and somebody called me and said, we have your cat, we're states away from you, but we have your cat, I would hope people would help me get my cat back.
Tyler was reunited with his family on New Year's Eve. He had meow comment on his adventure, but the McIntyres believe he might have hitched a ride to Wyoming with another truck driver.
So he made it from one Flying J truck stop in Nevada all the way over to Wyoming. So he's had a heck of a trip just to get back home.
Tyler's parents grounded him from road trips for the foreseeable future, but they hope their story reminds pet owners of the importance of microchipping.
It's really easy to lose a collar, but you can't lose a microchip. It's implanted under the skin, and we scan it, and a number pops up, and we're able to connect you with that microchip number.
Make sure you register them too, because if you don't register them, they won't know who they belong to.
Darian DeBrule, Fox 13 News, Utah.
What a fantastic reunion. Well, thanks for joining us on this Monday night. You can stay up to date on all things West Coast Rap, all the stories we're covering online. You can just go to westcoastrap.com and, of course, stream all of our shows on your smart TV by downloading the Fox Local app. Have a great night.